Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our 10th episode of the TPP Podcast. The original name being called the TPP Shoot, and that didn't work out so well. So we're gonna get right into it. WrestleMania 30. We've got The Miz facing Edge, and my special guest tonight, or actually my two very special guests tonight. We have Maverick, G Maverick from the PS3, runs MCW. I've known him for so long. A few years now. And then everybody's personal favorite, one of the most popular people currently in the COD world, which I use the COD term awkwardly because it's weird. COD is create a wrestler, so in the created superstar world, okay, that's what it is. AC Arthurs, we have AC Arthurs, we have the Big Fish here tonight, and like Awesome Fish said, what's cracking in the hood? What's cracking in the hood is WrestleMania. I almost said WrestleMania 14. WWE 2K14 special guest tonight, special podcast, special questions. So, without further ado, and I am being warned that if somebody does drop off the call, that they will be back. So that's okay. If we lose them, they'll come back. So here we go. All right, so we're gonna call the group. I'm gonna call the group. I'm gonna bring on the group, and as they come on, we'll start doing the intros. As I'm looking at Arthur standing there in his very sexy pose. All right, so it looks like we have both Arthurs here and Maverick. Are you both there?
I think so. Am I?
Yeah, you're here, Arthur.
Sweet.
Do we got you there, Maverick?
Hey everybody, yeah, I think you've got me. You keep breaking up a little bit, but we'll try and bear with it.
All right, so we do have Maverick. All right, so we have everybody here right now, so that's a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very good thing. So, before I get into it too much, I got a little bit of static in the background. It sounds like somebody's running a fan or something.
Me too, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's better, But, so before we get into it, we're going to do a little brief introduction segment here, and since I know Maverick, he's one of the coolest, most chill people I know. I know he's going to like to tell you guys about MCW first, and then we'll let Arthur's go second. So Maverick, go ahead. The floor is yours, man. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. All the Xbox guys, tell them about what MCW is and about who you are.
Okay, well, you can all call me G. My name is G. Most people actually refer to me as G in the community. MCW started off originally before we went live online in 2009. A friend of mine who's known as DDT in MCW, we got together and thought back in 2006 we would try and start our own real life federation in the UK. Didn't get around to it, never happened. A few years passed by. We were both playing video games with WWE or SmackDown versus Raw, as it was then referred to. As it was then called. And we thought, why don't we just take the ideas we were going to do for our own real life fed, which was going to be called MCW, and do it online. At least we haven't wasted a whole load of ideas. And that is initially how MCW came into being. So fast forward to 2009, the month of May, and we got going, started to recruit some people, and I thought the one thing that I noticed about online at that point, I can hear myself lagging here. Am I repeating?
Oh, nope, you're fine. You're fine.
Am I? Okay.
You're fine.
It must be just me then. And the one thing I noticed about the community back then is that it was you were either fair or you were noob. And there was no simulation, didn't exist. My God, I wish it did. Competitive wasn't really a term that was used back then. It was either fair or noob. And I thought, my God, there has to be a better way, because the online sessions that we were going into, we were getting noobed. I didn't want to play matches like that. The people I was hanging around with didn't want to be a part of that. And, you know, that's when we kind of really got serious about not turning MCW not just from an idea, but turning into something that could go forward and be something special. So we got serious about it, recruited some other people who were like-minded as we were, and yeah, things kind of sprang up from that. Okay. So yeah, that was basically the start of it all.
All right. Did you want to add anything else, or do you want to pass the floor over to Arthur's, or?
Well, I'm pretty sure that in some of the other topics you've given me a heads up about, probably going to cover other things as we go on. So I'm going to let Andy have a crack at doing things. And how's the Earl Grey, Andy? You enjoying that?
Yeah, that's fine. I've got most of that, yeah.
All right, so Andy, you know the deal. Let everybody know.
I suppose, yeah.
Let everybody know where you started.
All right. All right. I'm Andy, mostly known to most of you as AC, the Raven guy, the guy with the glow sticks, etc. Probably from TXW, TPP, NGC, EWR, EW. List is probably even further than that. I can't really think of anything else to add. That's pretty much me.
Short, simple, and to the sweet. I think he might have taken an ecstasy before he came on here, ladies and gentlemen. Got to stay in character here. No, this is completely out of character. So, with that being said, that was an extremely brief intro, Andy. You totally threw me off guard. I was expecting something a little bit longer, but that's okay.
Nope.
It's okay. So
he does have a cold, so we're going to have to bear with him, I think.
Yeah.
He is
I've got a deeper voice than usual. I'm usually quite a really high-pitched type guy, but I sound quite manly today.
Yeah, he sounds very, very manly today.
Manly.
So, we're going to get right into this. Everybody here is associated, or at one point in time has been associated with one another. I'm still currently associated with MCW. I've been associated with Arthur's. I've been associated with a lot of people. And so, in your opinion, how do you think that leagues have progressed since they began in their earlier installments of the WWE games? We're talking from their very early YouTubings. I don't know why I said YouTubings, but from their very early presentation to where they're at now. Whether they're still around, not around, how do you think that they progressed in a sense of, here's an example. I'll go first to kind of give out the layout for this. Like TPP, when we first started, it was competitive, and we didn't really have like the storyline integration into it. Like we would add it in there, but it wasn't visualized. And then we started making that transition to it, and recently I think it's became really good with our storylines being fully integrated. Within the past like year and a half or so, 2 years, it's been completely storylined in. But so like visually, I think in that sense, the progress of us, of course, was like from standard definition to like a higher standard definition to like high definition. Leadership-wise, I would say I was poo-poo at the beginning. I was awesome at the beginning of 2011. I was poo-poo during 12, and I'm back to being awesome again, pretty much, as everybody seems to love me again. So kind of like that kind of layout. You don't have to say it exactly like that, but again, the question is, in your opinion, how do you feel that leagues have progressed since they began, or when they debuted, when they first came on the scene, visually, leadership, people that are included in the league, whether it's superstars, champions, jobbers, fillers. Have a go.
Who wants to kick off on that?
I'll let you carry on.
Oh, me, okay. Wow, there's a lot to throw into just one question there. Okay. Well, let me try and take you back to. I can only really speak from MTW's perspective and the side that was covered on PlayStation. Leagues. Well, back in 2010, I'll take back to 2010 because there was only really MCW and an EFED known as the UWF, which I know Die Hard you're very familiar with.
Yes.
Having heard about that. And then, of course, there was CAW, which then tried to make a comeback for a second time. We actually ended up taking that over. We got some guys came over from that. CAW, just a quick history for those who don't know, and Die Hard will pick me up if I get something wrong here. They kind of started on the PS2 back in the 06 era, SmackDown vs. Raw.
Well,
07, sorry,
yeah,
online.
Yep, 07.
Everybody was kind of competitive back then. And if you weren't involved with CAW or you weren't in a clan called the Ring Generals, then you probably just weren't anybody. around at that point. So that was then. CAW had a lot of history to it, and I was kind of privileged to be offered to take over that league and bring it into MCW. Visually, presentation-wise, I look back now at some of the leagues and e-feds that were around a few years ago, and I feel like we've progressed in a good way. That's not to knock anything that happened, but everything evolves for a reason, and with the some of the technology that's come out that allows us to do what we do today is by far and away progressed in the right way and has taken us forward. So yeah, I'm happy with where we are at the moment, certainly in that respect. What was the other part of the question?
Visually, and like, oh, you already got kind of the visual aspect, but then it was like the leaders or person that were, the guy that was the main guy, or the people that were booking, and then, the wrestlers that were involved or people that were involved.
All right. Again, back a few years ago, it was just me running the show, doing pretty much everything in terms of organisation, the organisational aspect of it, and people just kind of took their cue from that and did what we needed them to do. Fast forward the turn of, I would say, this year, when we started to go simulation, we completely got away from competitive. The way I do it now is we organise it where we have a creative team and we have an audio and visual team, and the creative guy is responsible for the booking, coming out with the ideas for the show, storylines, etc. The audio-visual guys are the people, which is the commentary team, the interviewers, ring announcers, the editors, the people that are responsible for putting the show into production. And if I can do a quick plug, if I may, we're actually going to be bringing out our first, if I can call it our first YouTube debut fusion show. Because for those that don't know, we've actually done shows on PSN for ourselves for the last 4.5 years, and we've been doing that every week. I think we're kind of unique in doing that, but recently we felt that it's about time we kind of share what we're good at with the rest of you guys, so you can actually see what we do and bring that to YouTube. We're unsure at the moment as to the format, whether it certainly won't be a weekly thing. It's too much to try and do what we want to do on a weekly schedule. But if we can get to a point where we do it on a bi-weekly format, that's what we're aiming to do. It's a lot of work, and I've got to give the guys that are involved with me, and they really are the best bunch of guys that I could want to work with on the PS3 side. So big shout out to all you guys that help us out. Yeah. Great bunch of guys, and we're looking forward to sharing with the rest of you what we're all about.
Let's see. So then I was just reading a comment in the chat box. So AC, are you ready for the question, good sir?
Yes, I am indeed.
Okay. So your opinion on how leagues have progressed since your inauguration, since your inaugural beating, how they began in earlier installments and how they progressed through the years, such as visually, people that have been in power, and then, of course, the people that have been involved, the people that you've gotten to meet, and then the people, that, just things like that. Just how things have progressed since the bare bones and, to where we're at now, and possibly what you think the next evolution may be.
Bare bone. I'll admit, I came through about 2010, so if anything was before then, I wouldn't have any clue about anything that went on. So just going from what I know. Visually wise, they've just got better and better and better. The people look to learning how to do quality. It's some of the TXW, I'll bring that one first. People used to rip on it for not being simulation based, but the visually prepared on top. The visual on that was outstanding. It was brilliant, I thought. Graphics, everything coming up. It was easy to watch, fun to watch. Of course, the matches weren't that good. Then you got TPP. It was the graphics again, same. everything's going up, and then you get like the ladder keeps getting set and set and set. Like right now, you got PWR like it's soon coming out. There probably is going to be another one soon. I hope. The graphics, everyone who works on that, it's just so better to watch than most shows, just because like you feel like it's a real TV show. No like crappy little cuts, no stupid graphics. It's all flowing one and one and one.
Very nice.
In the future, obviously better graphics, better games, Xbox One, PS4, you're going to get better quality. Depending if people are willing to work with it, is who knows, it's what the future might hold. But from what I've seen on so many shows, it could actually turn out to be one of the best moves going to next gen.
Okay. That was a very good answer. That was a very concise and good answer. I like that.
Thank you.
All right. So, speaking of leagues and how they've progressed, your thoughts on this upcoming year, leagues that will shine the brightest with things such as storylines, gimmicks, and then again the people involved. And I'll go first on this one again, since it is a special podcast, and we've got, like I said, my answer can be forgotten, but I don't want you guys to forget theirs. So, I think upcoming, like storyline wise, I know this is gonna seem like arrogance, but I just really like the thing we've got going on with TPP as of late. So I think storyline wise, unless somebody can capitalize or outdo what we have planned coming up for like the future, I don't know, it remains to be seen, but I think that we're going to do really good storyline wise. But gimmick wise, I got to hand this to CCE. Lips is an amazing idea for a gimmick. You know, the whole sexually deficient kind of character. And so if you haven't watched any of the CCE episodes, I would recommend going to watch those. All the way up through Ascension. That was great. And then who do I think would shine the brightest out of like wrestlers coming up? As much as I want to say like Arthur's is going to shine, we all know that he's a has-been. He's nobody. So
take no offense to that at all.
I'm gonna hopefully Joshua Phoenix and Alex J. Eric and a lot of the newer guys really take this turn with 14. With 2K14 to really shine and don't get buried in normality. I guess maybe that's the word I'm looking for. But hopefully, like I said, nobody gets stagnant, and everybody keeps evolving themselves as individuals. And so yeah, gimmick wise, I would say CCE is gonna definitely shine. If they continue with the gimmicks that they're doing, they're gonna do fine. I think they will do fine. Storyline wise, I'm going to go with my own creation, TPP, because I love it. Wrestlers, I'm going to say every new guy that's out there, if you're getting into a league, just be unique. Be AC Arthurs. Be that cool, nice, friendly guy, but don't let somebody push you around. Don't stick your head up somebody's behind, but go with the flow. Go with what you got to do. Do what you got to do, but at the end of the day, it's just a game, and you can always turn it off. But yeah, so upcoming, I think we're going to see a lot of leagues start emerging out, throughout the year, like we see every year. But yeah. I think we'll definitely see some solid ones sticking it out throughout the year, and I want PWR to be one of those that keeps sticking it out. So, those of you that are editing, not pointing any fingers or nothing, I'm just saying, those of you that are editing, I want to see some frequent PWR shows. It'd be nice to see them, so gives me something to watch throughout the week. All right, so who wants to go next?
I'll go. Get out of the way with.
Yeah, go ahead.
Say gimmick wise, in the people I've seen, CCE, like you've said, is brilliant. You got Zayden Morgan, I think it is. Like he's got this anti-Jesus, I am Jesus type thing going on, which is basically like get under the heels of every like redneck who watches, which I don't know if I can say that, but Then you got Lips again, who's so weird, it's fun to watch. So they're definitely like shiners, I can say, of CCE. So they really bring it up. Hi Grant, by the way. They got these shows as well. Like I'm trying to think of one top of my head for Xbox. You got PWR, DPW coming up, and CCE from they're the only one, and TPP obviously. the only ones I can really think of. Like, obviously PWR's got a massive following right now.
Right.
Hopefully we can see like CCE and DPW both come up, because there are brilliant people in there. Talent that they've got is like great. You got, I know DPW, I think it's Stigma. JC Pullins is also coming up. Like, he's improved vastly. See someone like you can really keep your eye on. CCE, all the old names from TXW, new ones. Really could be the start of the year for all these like new leagues to probably just show up and make a name for themselves, I think.
That's right.
I'm hoping
right, so
Zayden Morgan definitely would be one to watch.
So who do you think would be some upcoming wrestlers that might shine the brightest this year?
Obviously, Zayden, Lips, I'd say. Alex J. Eric, can't really take anything away from him. He's just lovely, lovely guy. I love him. So obviously, I hope he like shoots up. Myself as well, obviously. There's quite a few who've like been brought into PWR as well. Josh Phoenix, anyone like them, if they can stand out, they've got great like awareness. If they can really stand out, bring a good gimmick to the table, they should really go well in like this whole industry, so to speak.
Damn, see, why didn't we get Arthur's on here sooner? He's all concise and like. And I should have had you guys on the first podcast. Jeez, I should have put it in then. All right, so Maverick, here's a question again. Your thoughts on this upcoming year, and for you, you can say PS3 because I know you only follow a couple of the Xbox leagues. So and I know that there's not many on the PS3, but I know that you do hear a lot through the grapevine, like I hear a lot through the grapevine as well. And so leagues that could possibly have a good year this year, or,
okay, do you want me to take that question, to take them as both, yeah? The upcoming leagues and the individual wrestlers who we think are going to shine, yeah? I'll cover that as... okay. All right, so kicking it off with the leagues that are going to be around, stick around and shine this year. Well, obviously, I've got to say MCW. I would get my ass kicked by the guys in the Skype chat if I didn't. So please forgive me on that one. TPP goes without saying, and I'm not just saying that because I'm in your podcast. Well, okay, partly I am, but you do actually put on a good show. It is weekly, and I don't see any other league out there at the moment that's doing a weekly show. So you get a lot of credit for actually doing something and sticking with it. So kudos to you on that. I would love to be able to give CCE a review, but I can't because their Ascension show is blocked in the UK. So I don't know what they got against UK people, but I guess if they sort the song issue out for the next episode, we can tune in and enjoy the show. So apologies to CCE, I can't give you a meaningful review because I haven't seen the show yet. Sorry. PWR. Now I took the issue of going back and re-watching the first episode of PWR last night with the guys in the Skype chat, the MCW chat, and to watch it through again from start to finish. I have to say that hands down it was one of my favourite shows that I've seen for quite a while. I only wish that they would put a second show out sooner rather than later because we really do need to see what they're going to come out with next. I can't really talk about other leagues on the PSN because, to my knowledge, and it's fairly up to date, there are no other leagues on the PSN, no other simulation leagues. So, yeah, it's kind of just MCW at the moment. So, but I guess we'll see what happens this year, New game comes out. People get the urge to start up a new league. Some make it, some don't. Survival of the fittest, I guess, if you want to call it that. All right. Wrestlers, wow, who's going to shine this year? Let me start off with with MCW then, the PS3 side. The guys at the top at the moment would be the undisputed champion for MCW, Alvin Zero. Alvin Zero is really good. Mystic, you'll have probably heard of Mystic in another place which I will simply refuse to mention. But in MCW, Mystic is up there. He's at the top of his game. He's going to have a good year. I can see that. Antonio Hogan, you might know him as Crisis again, formerly from another league whose name shall not be mentioned, at least by me. He's going to have a great year. Up and coming guys for MCW. I've got to say Josh King, who's actually in the podcast chat as Fresh CV617 at the moment. We got some big things planned for him. Alex Daniels could do very well in the Velocity division. Velocity division, by the way, is our version of the TNAX division, but it's more fast-paced, more high-flying. I know you guys are going to love to see all that. Asian Persuasion, Tag Team Faction, The Establishment. I think those factions are going to do very good in MCW. And there's others I haven't mentioned, forgive me, but I don't want to go on about MCW too much when there's others to cover. So switching over to the Xbox side of the community. Again, watching PWR last night, I've got to say that I got to see some of my favourite guys in the community on that show. Became a fan of Strider last night. Didn't know too much about Strider, but I saw the match against Monroe and I thought, wow, those guys just had a match. They nailed it. So props to those guys. Takumi Yuri is a favourite of mine. Mark Shinamori, I thought those two kicked off the show. Those guys were great. Had a really good match. Those guys are going to do well this year. Cartridge Kings, would love to see more of the Cartridge Kings. Alex J. Eric, I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. Des Holly, bright future. Joshua Phoenix, haven't seen a lot of this guy, but from what I've heard from other people, that guy's got a bright future ahead of him. So yeah, all in all, I think the future looks really, really good for both sides of the sim community, whether it's PS3 or whether it's Xbox. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with that at the moment.
Okay. All right. So we're almost to the Q&A, folks. We're almost there. We got one final one. Now, as this is kind of a... totally lost my voice there for a second, but this is a standard in our podcast. We have two very happy questions, and then we got to get that deep-seated question that, people can really dig at their scrapes and their wounds with. But the side effects to having bad or negative incidents with fellow members of the community, whether it's PS3, Xbox, hell, even the Wii. I don't know if they made it on like the DS and stuff. So
the superior console.
Exactly. So bad and good incidents, they happen all the time, every day. I mean, there's people that make songs about people. There's people that go on Twitter and say stuff about people. There's people that go on Ask FM and say shit about people. So, what do you believe is one of the worst side effects to having a bad incident with somebody? What could be the good possible outcome and the bad possible outcome? And again, I'll go first on this because I got a prime example. Me and Monroe had a pretty bad incident last January, and it kind of spiraled. It spiraled, and people got pissed at me, and I was pissed at him, and it seemed so bad. And just recently, we buried our hatchet, solved our issues, and he got an Ultimate Warrior code, and I got a kick in the face, or I will. But as Monroe was typing in the chat, I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but
yeah, I just did that.
But yeah, so the bad incident turned into a positive, because myself and Monroe, we became friends again, and we're talking again, and that's good. And I got connected again with other people. I was already still connected with Arthur's. Like I said on one of our other podcasts, I never had any negative will towards Arthur's. So
you hated me, just admit it.
No, I never.
I
hated you.
Okay, there we go.
Face off.
There, get it out. Finally.
Can I just say what? Can I just say one thing before you carry on? Because having personally met AC Arthurs recently, not in real life, by the way. Actually, as part of the core community,
creepy,
it should be stressed. I don't, how anybody could fall out with this guy is completely beyond me. He is one of the most good, genuine, honest, legit guys that I've come across in this community, and for me, it's I find it almost impossible to believe how anybody could fall out with that guy. So, I just wanted to say that. You're sobbing.
Bless you.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, so in my opinion, you can turn a negative into a positive. It's all about, I guess it's always going to come down to the people involved, which, Nick Virtue's in the chat right now, and Monroe is in the chat, and it happened on Twitter, but somebody had said something about Virtue, and I was like, well, wait, so you're calling him I think he called Nick a faggot or something, or maybe it was Monroe. I don't know. He called one of them a faggot. Said right. Yeah, exactly. It was not important anyways. So he decided to write that some song, and it was a pointless song, really pointless. And it was a bad it's considered a negative incident, but it was one of those negative incidents that literally got swiped under the rug. And back to my original scenario that I laid out, like the Monroe and I think, that got taken care of, and now Monroe's in my chat box calling me a little bitch. So it all worked out. It all worked out for the better. All right, so who's ready to go next?
Yeah, I'll go.
I think you might want to have. Well, before Andy, I think you might want to have a look at what's just gone on in your chat there, because someone's just freaked out and had a hissy fit over something. So.
Oh wow! Yeah, I
think it's a power wrestling guy.
I was reading this now. It's quite.
There was no disrespect meant to power wrestling.
I think what I would say in response to that is, I can only speak about things that I've seen myself. I haven't seen power wrestling yet. But what I said earlier, when the guy posted the link in the chat, is if you give me the link, I'll check it out when I've got time to do it. And if I say I'll do it. So I can't really, people can't be expected to sort of give someone credit for something if they've not seen it yet. But yeah, give us a link and we'll check it out.
Oh, well, I've seen power wrestling. I mean, we feature him on the power plant, but I'm definitely, there was no disrespect meant to that. I don't want you guys to take that the wrong way. There was no disrespect implied, and with Maverick and Andy, I wasn't sure if they watched it or not. So in that case, but like they said, post your link in the chat, and when they get an opportunity to watch it, they will watch it. But anyways, so again, no disrespect, but so are you ready to answer the question, Arthurs?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I've basically been part of it, like the bad side, so many times now. It's just getting a bit boring.
You're evil.
I'm just an evil person, but I'm totally evil. I'm twiddling my thumbs and mustache right now. Basically, negatives. You basically get like typecast from the community. Really, you say one bad thing to one person, and instantly have to go to another person. Who goes to another person. Who goes to a higher up person. Who goes to a more popular person. And you just basically get shunted out of the whole thing. So basically, it's really not that fun when you get a bad experience in the community. If you get something good though, it's pretty it is fun. Then again, same thing goes for the bad, and it goes up and up and up. More people know about you, and I can't really say much more than that. The good things go up, and the bad things go even higher, basically.
Yeah, good goes high, but bad goes higher.
Yeah.
All right, so Maverick, I know that you've been. This is the 5 years in the making, guys. This is the 5 years in the making. This is what that meant. This is this is that question. So I'm going to repeat the question. I might change it a little bit here. The side effect to having bad, evil, or intentional incidents with people, and what the fallout could be, good or bad.
You see, I think I know what you want me to say, but I promised myself before I came on here tonight that I wasn't going to mention them. You know who I'm referring to.
Okay, all right. You don't have to. I'm not saying you have to, but...
I just... Yeah.
I think it would be... Who are you talking about? But he just clicked on...
Yeah. I think if I were to mention them, it would be forever a mistake if I were to do that. So I'm not going to make that mistake if you catch what I just did there.
I get you.
Okay. So things that... Wow. Okay, let me bring up a recent example then, because I'd had some falling out with MCW, and myself primarily had a falling out with a guy who is now back in MCW. His name is Crisis, Antonio Hogan, and things were not cool between us for a number of years. I hired him, I brought him into MCW twice. I had to let him go twice. Part of that was a misunderstanding, but you know what? We decided we'd bury all that, and we got together in a Skype call. We had it out completely. It turns out that some of what we had fallen out about was a complete misunderstanding of what actually happened. And for my part, I had apologised to him for that. I'm not usually a very humble person, but on that, there are occasions where I do try to be. So that's a failing on my part, I suppose. And we buried our issue to come together for something that was bigger than two egos or people to be fighting over. And he's now back in MCW. He's responsible for the editing of the show, and we're getting along just great. It's like it never happened. And I just wish, if more people were able to do that, I think that the community that we're trying to bring together and to create would just be so much a better place. And it's not always going to work out. Sometimes you'll go to someone and you'll try and make up and they'll throw it back in your face and, well, at least I tried, didn't work out, but hey, I did my bit. And that's really all you can do.
That is very, very true. You know, and that's what it comes down to too. It's like, I mean, you can try to, build the bridge, but if they don't want to walk across it, or at least, start taking the steps, then, sometimes that bridge is just going to crumble. And on that note, is that all you wanted to say, or did you want to add anything else? Or
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
I would just want to say one other thing. In addition to that, I and some of the other members of MCW recently this year, we kind of, in an effort to try and help pull the community together, the simulation community, because I'll be honest with you, I couldn't give a rat's ass about the competitive, the noob, the fair, whatever you want to call it. That's history as far as I'm concerned. Simulation is where it's at today, and long may that continue into the future. So, but what we try to do is to reach out to some of the guys on the Xbox, to some of the PWR guys, and to you, obviously, with TPP. And you guys could have slammed the door in our face and think, well, PS3, that's shit, we don't want nothing to do with that. But you didn't. And to your credit, and it's a big credit, you gave us an opportunity to come in, and hopefully you'll see what we can do when our show goes up on YouTube. And I can only really thank you guys for that. AC Arthurs, I've got to thank you for agreeing to come into MCW and to help give the guys advice, because they look up to people like you and they think, I want to be like that and learn from these people. Scott Barnett, I know some of the guys have been talking to Scott. He's passed on some of his knowledge. Again, Scott, if you're listening, thank you. Those guys really do appreciate it. I appreciate it. Munro, he's another guy that I've talked to recently. Alex J. Arick, Devon Surefire. You guys didn't slam the door in our face. You've welcomed us in. We appreciate that. And just a lot of thank yous going out tonight, but I feel they're deserved thank yous. So yeah, we mean what we say.
Okay. All right. So on that note, now it's the fun stuff. I got to come up with a cool little soundboard. Live Q&A. As something like that. So.
That was terrible.
Wow. I'm saying we'll put some reverb on it. We'll put some arena effects.
Auto-tune, maybe. I don't know.
Like the I'm a Barbie girl will be in the background.
T-paint it. Go auto-tune and it'll sound really good.
So, this would be the time for you gentlemen to pull up your Ask FMs if you can pull them up, if you got some questions.
I
I'm really
actually
not popular,
don't have
probably.
an Ask FM. I refused MCW to have one simply because of all the drama and the nastiness going around, and I thought we ain't going to be a part of that. So
Okay.
But yeah, questions. Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, every question I get, I usually have everybody answer. So, in a whole, I find that the community has begun to group together as of late. Is there anyone in your mind that has had a positive influence upon the CAW community this year? So I guess we're all going to individually give answers here. Honestly, I think that a lot of the people that have been, and it's not one person in particular, I think it's collectively, a lot of the people that have been around for a while, they're just kind of tired of the same horrendous stuff that gets said every year, every other week, the things that happen, don't happen, things like that. I just think that it finally got to the point where people were just like, you know what, enough's enough. We're going to be Owen Hart. Enough is enough. It's time for a change. So I think, in all honesty, I think that a lot of people had a positive influence on the community. I mean, aside from amazing storylines and really amazing matches, I think personality-wise, we saw sides of people that you didn't think you'd see, and then we saw sides of people that we knew we'd see. So it was kind of collective, but I just think that a lot of the older people, or not even necessarily older, because even some of the younger people, but they stopped doing the drama thing, because the drama thing it's just a drag for everybody. It draws energy out of everything you do, and it makes everything 10 times harder to do. So, all right, and anybody want to add to that, or?
What was the question again?
Question is, in a whole, I find that the community has begun to group together as of late. Is there anyone on your mind that has had a positive influence upon the CAW community this year?
Positive. It's kind of hard to see many positives, seeing as that much drama went down, like past month, couple of months, 3 months, all year.
Yeah.
Not many spring to mind. I'd say most of the PWR people, they're like always positive. They always try to help out whenever they can with some people. Like we've joined with MCW, I think. I'm not too sure about that. I think we have.
Don't know as it's official. I'm actually still waiting to hear back from quote staff unquote. I think Monroe was going to be asking the staff what they thought about that, but I've not heard anything back yet. But so we await that with much anticipation.
But there's that one then. TPP as well, or mainly you. Like I see, like in your shows, you've like gone with MCW, RCW, I think it is as well.
Yep, RCW, and then
you add them in the shows, constantly promoting. It's always better to get like lower groups bundled together to make one super show, if that's even possible. But like, it basically just takes away from the bigger shows, like not listening to the smaller ones, not realising there are other people out there. So it's a lot better when the lower leagues just group all together to think, yeah, you know what, we can do this all together, which just sounded like a rote speech person then, that sounded stupid. But yeah, when they all group together, it makes just like everyone gets along more than egos don't come around, which is really all I've got to say about that, really.
Okay. All right, and then Maverick, did you want to kind of put anything into that?
Turns out we have a big announcement here, and it's official because Monroe has just put it into the chat, and I wasn't aware that it was official yet. But yeah, so MCW and PWR are now officially affiliated, and we're looking forward to working with you guys. So I was really pleased to be able to announce something big on the podcast tonight. So
breaking news! Oh my god!
Absolutely,
dun, dun, dun.
right here on the TPP podcast, and it's
make sure to put a hashtag in front of that when you say TPP Podcast, though.
Of course.
I feel like I should say like download the app as well. You know, I should say that a bit more. Who knows?
If I had an app, I'd say to download it, but
yeah, download the app now.
The invisible make-believe app.
Yeah, it could happen.
Exactly, it could have. I should download an iOS app. Or I mean, I should create an iOS app. Okay, so next question here.
Well, hang on a minute. I haven't answered the one you just.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
What you just had, yeah. Hang on, there's some stuff going on the M. Oh, never mind. Okay, it's irrelevant. Just repeat the question for me, so I've got it clear in my own mind, if you wouldn't mind.
What was
Something to do with drama or something, isn't it?
It was the most person who had, or somebody that had a positive influence on the community this year.
Right. Positive influence on the community this year so far. Okay. Bit hard, really, really tough for me to name just one person. So if you've no objection, I'm going to just name an idea and a group if I can, because I can best sum up my answer in that way. So first of all, and I know it hasn't happened yet, but the Simulation Core Awards that Devin Surefire was organising, that's a positive move for the community, and I really, really hope that we get to see that, or we get to see something this year, and it continues year after year, because I think that would really help bring people together if they can showcase, a really good supercard of matches and an awards show to go with it. That's a positive. We need to keep trying to do that every year. Group of idea or positive people. I really like the way that PWR have come out with this idea of not just having a league, but having it community-based. That hasn't, to my knowledge, been done before on either console. So that again can only be a positive move that can help bring people together. If I had to give another example, I'd probably have to go with the people behind the Robbie Scott's Gym, RSG as I call it, because that's an idea that came up to help bring people who were not heard of yet and give them the spotlight to kind of train with other people that were known and help push them into the spotlight and give them their chance to shine. So again, ideas like that are something that we need to do more of. So those would be the three positive plus points for me this year.
Okay. All right. So this is a question that is pretty much directed at you, G. But since we have MCW on the podcast, how does the PS3 community compare to the Xbox 3 community?
Wow. Okay. Does it specify competitive simulation or is it just the community?
Well, I'm probably going to assume it's going to be simulation, seeing as though I know who it came from, because he didn't ask it anonymously. So I'm going to leave him anonymous, but he's a simulation player. So I'm going to assume that it's based off of simulation, the simulation side of things. So.
All right. How does it compare to the Xbox? Wow. All right. I can best sum it up like this. And we have to go back in history a little bit in order to get the answer here, because AOW back on the Xbox was responsible, as far as I know, for kicking off simulation. And thank God that they did, because where would we be now if they didn't? So credit for that. As to how it compares now, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Xbox community is streets ahead of the PS3 simulation community by a good couple of years, and we're almost playing catch up on the PS3 side. I mean, we've begun to lay the foundations for the basics of it, and you'll see that when the show comes out, and I hope you'll see some progression there. And that's really that's about as far as I can go with an answer, because there's still a way to go for the PS3. And Xbox very kindly are kind of showing us how it's all done, and we give these guys credit for that. So yeah, that's basically my answer to that question.
Okay. Now, Arthurs, I'm going to give you an option. You don't have to answer this one if you don't want to, because I'm going to pass on this one. I figured this question was directed for Maverick, seeing as though, he is directly from the PS3 side. I don't have a PS3 anymore, and the last time I was on my PS3 when I had it was in 2011, so it was a while ago.
I can't really add anything to it. I've never played PS3 side, never really done anything with it, really, so I'll just skip. Run away.
And don't worry, the person who asked this question, it's not because we didn't want to give a response, but I can't comfortably say the response to it because I haven't been on. I know things have changed a little bit. It's a slow progression, and I know when I was there, people were very hard-headed on the PS3, and unfortunately, sometimes you got to crack a couple skulls to get that out there. So hopefully, the PS3 community will embrace it throughout this year. Based on the gameplay that you're seeing now with Edge and The Miz. Speaking of that, we're going to get right into this one. When 14 came out on the midnight release, I was doing the stream, and so the question is, how do you think the paint tool issue will affect feds and leagues this year? We had talked about this before the podcast. I'm the only one on the podcast right now that has the game.
Yeah, because we're stuck in the goddamn UK. Nobody likes us. I feel like a bloody Millwall fan. Nobody likes us. I mean, if you weren't in the UK, you wouldn't understand what I just said there. But yeah,
2K racist.
Yeah. I've just got one thing to say about that issue, and that is this. I think it's about time that the makers of these video games stopped having release dates weeks apart for different regions of the world. I think we need one release date. If there's going to be an petition about anything, let's have an petition about that, and let's just have one international release date that the game comes out on that day for everybody, no matter where you are around the world, and we can all play the game and just do what we got to do,
True.
British people have feelings too.
Exactly.
Oh, it looks like Power Wrestling or Admin Animal, Fifth Animal from Power Wrestling. Looks like he said he kind of figured a way around the paint tool issue. I'm not sure. They didn't find a way around it. Anyways, so the issue was on the stream was that paint tools would not stretch the full canvas of like the apron or the mat, and so I was like, that's not good. Why did I just go to exit? I do apologize. I went to exit, but it was really upsetting because a lot of the leagues they stretch out their paint tools. Oh, through designs. And anyways, so when you're using so the fix I guess would be to use designs, but for the paint tool users, the 128 by 128 pixels, they will not stretch the full width of anything. If you do a 256 paint tool, it will stretch vertically but not horizontally. And so hopefully 2K, although based on the support ticket reply I got and that others have gotten, it was made by design to do that, which is unfortunate. I don't know why they would intentionally cripple that specific mode, whether they thought it was visual aesthetic type situation. I don't know. Actually, while we're on the podcast, I can actually show it to you live while we discuss this, because I think it's going to negatively affect a lot of places, especially if you have a logo that needs, okay, here's a good example, the Fusion logo. Okay, it's a kind of big logo. It needs to be big. It can't be a small little logo. It just cannot. And so we're going to go into Create an Arena right now. So if you're watching the stream, you'll be able to see me as I do this. But
yeah. Did you not post a picture about this on Twitter? Because I think I caught something on somebody posted a picture. Yeah, I saw it and I thought, oh, that's not good. That really is going to have an adverse effect on not just people, but leagues' ability, eFed's ability to creatively produce what they want to produce for the show. So yeah, 2K need to listen to the feedback, and they need to bring out a patch, or they need to do something that changes it the way that we want it to be.
Well, see, if I know you guys are on a delay, but right now you're looking at the Frontline logo that I posted up onto Twitter earlier. Now this is 3 separate paint tools. These are all 128 by 128. So what you do, I'm expanding it right now. That is as big as you can make a 128. That is completely maxed out. And so you put it like that. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that leagues will make it work. They'll find a workaround for it. Everybody will. But the problem is, I don't think we should have to find a workaround, seeing as though this feature worked just fine. You know, on 13, we were able to stretch it. I mean, and if you notice, it takes 3 times as many now paint tools to get the same effect of 1, which I think is unfortunate. I don't have any 256s right now because I deleted all my 256 paint tools, so I don't have a 256. But the 256 will stretch top to bottom. But that is a 128 paint tool completely stretched to its maximum. As you see, it's not very big.
All good.
So I don't think I think that people will find a way around this. I'm sure that places will find a way around it. But again, there's the paint tool issue. In calm mode, last year it was 10 paint tools allotted. Now, if you're somebody like Nick Virtue, I think Nick requires 9 or 10 paint tools for his car. He's got paint tool for his eyebrows. He's got paint tool on his left sleeve, or I think he's got 2 paint tools on his left sleeve, like on his upper and his lower, and then he's got.
His whole core is basically just paint tool. If
exactly.
Paint tool was a tool, it would be Nick.
Exactly, and so he's got a lot of paint tools. I think he's got 2 paint tools on his boots, or his kick pad design, plus his trunks, and right there he's already 8 through. That's 9 that I just counted, if I'm counting right. So I think that's a big issue. I don't think they're going to patch that. And I'm sure Nick will find a way around it. He's a very ingenious and oh, it's still 10. They typoed and put 8. Just found that. Okay, so it is still 10. Okay, thank God. Never mind. That was a false rumor. Thank God. So
see, when
Nick
Virtue, found that out, he probably cried and
he probably did. He probably did the Shawn Michaels thing on the ground.
But he kicked a guy called Stan. Who knows?
He was probably getting ready to super kick his TV too. He's probably like, you know what, you're about to get some sweet chin, and he was like, you know what, all of a sudden he's like, he went to put that 9th one and it went, and he was like, praise be Jesus, and he got down and he prayed to God and he's like, thank you Lord, I now have my custom eyebrows.
I'm like looking at the keyboard and I can't see how you'd make a typo from 10 to 8. It's like they're nowhere near each other.
It's that logic, I tell you, logic. But yeah, so I think in a nutshell, to answer the question about the paint tool issue within Create an Arena, I think leagues will find a way around it. I'm sure we will. Like Admin said, or Power Wrestling, you can use designs. So maybe, hypothetically, if, and this is just maybe an idea, if we can use designs and stretch them the full length, maybe you could use like the one that looks like the bar. Maybe make your logos kind of connect into it from maybe the ring post or something. I don't know. Just kind of throwing that out there. But hopefully they either patch it or we find a really cool workaround, or else people are going to start having more than one paint tool on their aprons and in the mats and stuff.
Yeah.
And for the people that have big logos, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but you're going to have it in like 4 parts if it's like a circular kind of logo. I think that's how it's going to have to be. If you want it to be a full-size logo, you're going to have to do like 4 different paint tools of 128 by 128. Yeah. So
I know. Sorry, carry on it.
Oh, I was just going to say, so just if you have Xbox or PS3, you might want to start making some new usernames so that you can upload paint tools and download them through those. I guess that's kind of the only other workaround, because we've got only 20 paint tool slots, but we have 100 cost slots. That logic.
Yeah. I mean, I know from our perspective, we've got a guy in MCW. Most of you will know him as Mexi for the win, Mystic. What he doesn't know about hacked paint tools, quite frankly, isn't worth knowing. So I'd be very surprised if he doesn't find a way around this, so that we can do what we need to do. And if we do, hit us up and we'll tell you how to do it, I guess.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. And then you want to add anything to that, Arthur's, or?
Not really. He said if hack's probably the only way I think you can really get around it at the moment, unless they do end up patching it. Like people like, let's say Voltage, PWI Voltage, our logos is the entire like apron. There's just one logo, 2 logos, I think it is.
Exactly. Those were 256s, weren't they?
No, they're 128s, I believe.
Oh,
Eno.
wow.
You can thank Eno for them.
Oh, also, before I forget, there is a petition going around.
Yes.
Maverick, if you want to put that link down in the chat box there.
Hold on a minute. I'm going to have to go back to Twitter and see if I can find it. bear with me just a few minutes.
But yeah, so there is a petition that's kind of going through the creation suite issues. So if you, I know I signed it, but I don't know.
I know some of the MCW guys have signed it. We put that in the chat. It lit up like a bloody Christmas tree, I can tell you.
Yeah, everything's been lighting up for me as of late. It's like, such craziness. But so in the meantime, we'll get that link posted to the petition if you want to sign it. We'll get that posted hopefully by the time we wrap this up. But we're gonna grab the next question here. Where do you see the simulation community heading into 2K14's features or heading in with 2K's features that they've implemented and the limitations that they've implemented? And this was asked to Arthur as well. This is from a simulation player that just signed on to Skype. Good thing you guys aren't seeing my screen right now because you'd know who it was. But I would say, based on the limitation, this is one of the big limits I've seen right here.
I've just posted the link, by the way, in the chat for you. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, guys. So if you want to, possibly, I mean, I'm sure this petition will get submitted to 2K, and they may fix it, they may not. Yeah, that would be nice if they would allow us to import from our computer. That'd be so much easier. And then we got a question from this one guy that again wants to remain he wants to be anonymous. He said, "Why is AC such a bitch?" Which, that's just the way he talks.
Yeah.
He always talks like that.
It's British. It's kind of my thing.
No, this one isn't British.
Oh, I mean me. That's the reason why.
He is a real American. He fights for the rights of masked men. He is a... All right, so limitations and features. I think with like the big guy stuff and like the new oh my god moments and stuff, they're onto something good. A limitation I think is like the strikes are way too fast, which you guys will notice. It seems a little bit more clunkier, to be honest, but it's
we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know because 2K are racist.
Exactly, they're racist, so you guys won't know. But you guys will know on Friday, and you'll see those strikes. Like you'll see when you go in to create a moveset. I don't remember which knee drop kick it is, but it is like 100 times speed. It's amazing. Me and Monroe were laughing about it when we were like doing the stream when I first picked up the game. But yeah, it's got a learn. It's gonna take some getting used to, because 13 definitely played slower. 14 is quite a bit faster. They did, I think, partially fix the reversal issue, like online if you were playing competitively, but I got my ass kicked by Santino Marella 3 times on my live stream.
Did he give you the Cobra?
Yes, all 3 times.
Oh, no.
That made me happy.
That hurts my feelings.
I'm actually smiling inside.
Yeah, sometimes the hits don't connect, but at the same time, it's like they shrunk the hit boxes too for like the connection. Like if you do, I know this is kind of a spoiler because you guys don't have it, but I know you guys have been watching some of the streams that might have been going up, like Zurich stream and stuff. But there was Defend the Streak, which is Slobber Knocker. That's a return of Slobber Knocker. And so when they're first getting in, like they slide in through the bottom rope, unless they're like a super heavyweight, you can still hit them before they get in, and you'll cause damage to them, but it's not actually connecting. And now they've kind of shrunk but enlarged the hitboxes at the same time. So I think, in a nutshell, they've taken a step forward, but at the same time they still took 2 steps back, and that was the typical THQ and Ukes fashion, was to do that. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize, but the 2K team right now is still THQ and Ukes. It's just 2K THQ Ukes, because they hired all the same people on. And, Ukes had already designed the game, designed the engine and everything. Everything was already put into place.
Does that mean we get all the same fuck-ups from THQ as well? Because we've got the same...
Yeah, I mean, there's still... They said they addressed a lot of the glitches and stuff. There's some things I haven't even touched in the game yet. Like, I haven't even touched Universe. I went into Story Designer. They said there was new scenes in Story Designer. I found 4 new scenes. Or I think it was 4 new scenes. I think. I might have been wrong. But,
They weren't lying then, technically.
I guess, but I thought they said it was something like, well, I guess they never specified how many scenes from Story Designer they had added. But yeah, they do. They all do move like they have hemorrhoids. They really do. In the game, like when they're targeting people, they move like they have hemorrhoids, because like automatically try to target. And then if you have your opponent down, you try to like pick him up. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay when he tries to pick him up. But hopefully, and I know that we'll all find a way to work around it. We'll make the best out of everything we have because that's just what we do. We find the way around it, and we find a way to make everything work. But given the limitations that we have now, like the create an arena issue and things like that, I think our biggest limitation is the create an arena issue right now. But I'm sure that in a couple of weeks we'll find something new that's even possibly bigger. So yeah, that's all I really got. The biggest limitation, create an arena, but I think that with that flaw, the gameplay mechanics, like I think people will get used to them and we'll still be able to make things work, even though it kind of sucks and they are a little clunky.
So I wouldn't really know about how it goes like at the moment because of course we haven't got the game. 2K hates British people, etc., etc. From what I've seen, they do walk really weirdly. I've seen that a lot. Like they walk around, like they won't spin, they won't turn, they just constant circling. Which
Yep. That's what they do. They keep their target, which I guess is kind of good, sort of, but it still does the same issue even when you turn on manual targeting. So you can't even negate it by turning on manual targeting this year. So I don't know. It's hopefully everybody gets comfortable with it. And I'm sure everybody will. We'll all get comfortable to a level and be good at it.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Right. Yeah.
I hope so, yeah.
All right, so here's a good one. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck had no arms? That's a trick question right there. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck had no arms?
A chuckload.
Chuck?
They wouldn't be able to chuck any. They don't have any arms.
He uses his mouth or put an axe on his head or something.
I don't know.
You can't stop people with no arms these days. It's considered politically incorrect. They can work ways around it. It's perfectly fine.
People are already hacking the game.
Can I have a go at answering this one?
Yes.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck
had no arms?
Had no arms. For the simple fact that he has Chuck in his name, I'd have to say a Chuck Nasty Load. There you go. That's my answer.
Very nice, very nice. Although Monroe didn't actually ask that question, though. I can safely say that
I'm pretty sure he didn't. I actually have an idea as to where that may have come from. Wasn't me, but yeah.
That's right. Monroe got that shout out, that Chuck Nasty. But yeah, like people have figured out ways to hack the game already. They've been making instead of doing something helpful to the community, they started making invisible cause.
Oh yeah.
So that of course that's more important, making those invisible cause.
Oh, God,
oh
yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Because you wouldn't want to be seen in the ring, would you? I mean, that would be too embarrassing. I mean, you might not have any attire on, so you'd want to be invisible. I completely understand that.
Exactly.
That's why you'd make an invisible core, of course. So why didn't I think of that earlier?
Exactly. That's the way we should all be, invisible. That we didn't buy the game so we could see our character rendition in the ring. We bought the game to be invisible.
You should
and
have
see a little
TPP needs more invisible cores. He'll make the show 10 times better having invisible people.
Oh no, that was just mean.
Oh yeah, good point. But
all right. So
wasn't intended.
This one says, I know. So this one isn't a podcast question. So I guess I'll do it anyways though. Hey Diehard, if you could book any 5 people on TPP against anyone on the current roster, who would they be, and what matches would you make?
Ooh.
Well, I would, and I'll do this like in a match card. So, match number 1, I would probably put Semiraro in a 60-man gauntlet match, regardless whether he won or lost. And I would basically the way that match would happen is Semiraro would come out. And then Die Hard's music would play, and he would grab a mic and say, "Now, strip down to your pink thong that we know you're wearing, and wrestle this match." So then, I'd imagine Monroe or somebody'd come out first, maybe AC Arthurs or Craig Hazard or or Barnett or John Russell's, or better yet,
All of them.
actually, you know what? I think I know who would come out first. It would probably be Brick Wall, because a lot of people he caught a lot of slack from people, and he kind of parted ways with TPP for a little bit. But he would probably come out first, give a spear, and then he'd walk away. Or maybe it'd hit the Ravers music, and you might throw a glow stick at him, bounce off his Jufro, it might get lost. So that'd be the first match. I'm pretty sure that Samararo would not win. If he won, that would just be a miracle, but he wouldn't win. Match, and that's being completely serious, by the way. I'm being dead serious. I did that in 12, but or 13. Yeah, after the Rumble, I did that. Everybody that I had downloaded was involved in that gauntlet match. But anyways, so match number 2, I would do one match I never, ever got to see was an actual, and I know this is going to be kind of like a play on, but it'd be like Monroe versus Die Hard, because it never happened. It's never actually happened with Monroe and Die Hard, ever.
Because it's been like suicide for Die Hard, really.
Well, I've seen like Junior versus Monroe, I've seen things like that, but never Die Hard versus Monroe. So Die Hard versus Monroe would probably be match 2. Match 3, I would probably, I'd pull Suicide from the place that I don't speak of, and MCW, and I'd put him in a match, probably against Damian Gamer, if he was still with us. And then I'd have to do like a battle of the big dudes, the big bad dudes. I'd probably do Semi, not Samararo, but Semi is it Barbatunde? Am I saying that right?
Barbatunde.
But yeah, Barbatunde.
Said it a really cool accent.
I'd do him. I'd do Semi versus Titan, because Titan was a big ass dude. Like, he was bigger than everybody else we ever had in TPP, like physically bigger. And so like the physical, I think it'd be a good big guy match. That'd be match number 3 for me. Match 4, I would probably put AC Arthurs and Mackay in a match, or else Joshua Phoenix and Mackay, or James McKay. I would put, actually, I do like a battle royal. It'd be like Arthurs, Mackay, Alex J. Eric, and Joshua Phoenix. I get the mix of all of the best worlds, something like that. For the main event, the final match, we would do a pie eating contest that Die Hard would win. Everybody in call would be invited, everybody. But you have to wear a suit, and it has to be a $500 suit. Those would be my 5 matches. Best ever card. And it'd be like a 6-hour show. Because 3 of the hours would probably just be, Samararo getting his ass whooped by everybody. So I think that's pretty good. And then all right, so it looks like Mr. Maverick, he's got a question that he would like to present to everyone.
Yep, just got a question in on a PM to the MCW Twitter, which is just a little plug there. If I can put that in, if you're not already following, go ahead and we'll try to follow you back. Question says, oh, where is it? Bring it up on the screen again. This is a question for everybody can have a go at answering this, I think. And the question is, what, in your opinion, makes a good core show? Nice, easy, basic question. Who wants to kick off with that?
I'll start it off.
Okay.
I always say that, like, yeah, it's nice having really nice graphics, but I believe that I'm looking at this chat and I'm just laughing, but I believe that the match quality, what happens, from bell to bell is the most important part of the show. I think that's the most important part. I mean, you can have great theme songs, great gimmicks, great graphics, great commentators, great everything, but if the match is poo-poo, then it makes it poo-poo. No matter how much it gets played up by the commentator or whoever's voicing it. It comes down to those who are working, that match together. I think that's what defines what makes a good show. Because one match can make a show amazing, to be honest. It only takes one.
Yeah, of course, that show becomes memorable just based off of that. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying there. Andy, over to you. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Same, really. Match quality needs to be like really good, just depending on who's in it. Matches have to go along with who's in it. Big guy, small guy, big guy, big guy. You know, just the basic match types, really. And something I always take is the presentation as well. If there's like crappy graphics and bad commentary and everything like that, it's really not going to make you watch it, or at least skip halfway through each bit. Just go to the end of the matches. It's always like horrible just to hear like, and there's a headlock. Wow, good headlock. It sucks. To skip to the end of the match, and like if you had good commentary, good like graphics, good people in the ring, it's going to be really good to watch.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, makes sense, definitely. Well, I'll try and answer this one if I can. I'm going to just bring it down to 3 very simple questions. Any league EFED owner, in my opinion, has to get right. Otherwise, for me, the show is a fail. And it comes down to these 3 questions. First one is this. Number 1. Who are the 2 people in the ring? Who are they? And when I say who are they, I don't just mean a name. I'm talking about their character, their gimmick. Who are they? So that's number 1. Number 2 would be... number 2 would be what are they fighting about? Why are they there? What are they fighting about? So you need to answer that question. Third question, and probably the most important one of the lot, and if you can answer this one, then you've nailed it. Why should I care? Give me a reason to tune into your show and watch, because if I don't have that, I can't follow what you're doing. So if you can put a tick in the box to each of those 3 simple questions, then you'll have a show that people are going to want to continue to tune into. And for me, it's as simple as that.
Okay. And I think that all of those were amazingly good answers. Like, they all flowed in together so well, too. You know, it's like... And you guys, like, Maverick's right. It's really does break down to the simple formula of those 3 questions, you know. And then, again, you know, after you look into that, then it gets a little bit deeper, you know, like the match quality and, you know, like depending, like you said, you know, who is this person? Why should I care? You know, what are they bringing to the table? Let me know something about this person, not, you know, they were born with a silver spoon and, yeah, their name's Randy Orton Jr., you know, not that. You know, nobody likes that. And I know my voice is cracking because it's completely dying. Surprisingly, because I haven't been doing commentary like for TPP shows, my voice is completely crap right now.
Oh, I have all that to come. Oh God.
I've just got a cold, so you can feel sorry for me if you want it.
But so do we have any other questions, or do we want to wrap this up, or?
I have none of those have been sent in to me. So Andy, I don't know if you have any others.
I'm just having a look. Got one here.
Okay.
What's the secret to being a successful simulation wrestler, and what is your definition of a perfect sim core? That's to both of you, I think.
I actually think you might be the expert to answer this one.
Oh wow. I don't like to brag, really. I'm not sure what makes anyone successful, to be honest. Pretty much all I can say is, well, I don't even know what to say. Yes, it's a pretty hard question to answer, I'll admit.
Well, kind of. I mean, we got to look at it from both sides, though. Like, and that's, I guess, where the question's kind of vague, because like, if you were to ask me, like I said before, if somebody asked me 2 years ago, or back in 2011 when we had Arthur's with us, did I know that Arthur's was going to become super popular? Hell no. I didn't know that. I didn't think that.
I didn't know.
You know, yeah, we didn't know. Nobody knew. Nobody knew for sure. Like, they were like, oh, yeah, he's a cool kid, but we don't know what he's going to do. And now he's the Raven to the Graven, or Grave to the Grave, Raven to the Graven, Rave to the Graver, or
you know we gave him that hashtag, don't you? Rave to the Grave. He's going to put that on a T-shirt. It's available It's available at www.gstees.com. There you go. Haven't set it up
Yeah.
yet, but we're working on it.
It will happen.
But yeah, so like that's the thing. Like with AC Arthurs, he just kept pushing. He kept pushing himself, and he kept evolving. He kept growing and growing and growing, and he kept getting situated with the right people. Even though sometimes he got situated with people that were the right people at the time, but then it turned into, you know, maybe a negative situation. But he still found the light in it, and still rose above. As much as that sounds like a John Cena cop out.
I am John Cena. I'm what?
Yeah, he's the John Cena of leagues, you know. Except he has been in a couple of different ones. Cena's only been in one, you know. But anyways, but yeah, so it's about persevering. You know, if somebody there's really no secret to success. You know, I mean, you keep doing what you do, and you keep being as good as you can at it, and hopefully throughout your tenure wherever you are. The person you're working with, the guy that's booking you, is like, hey, you know what, this guy's actually trying to do something. So, you know, let's get him over. Let's try to see what we can do. And it took a little longer for Arthur's, but once he got that rocket under his ass, he's still going. So, you know, he's like the Energizer Bunny, still going and going and going. That's all I can really say. And Arthur's is the perfect example of it. He just kept pushing. That's all I can really.
Yeah.
That's all I got, man.
I suppose my answer to that is, and it follows on, I think, from what you just said there about pushing and pushing. To me, it's the same as it is if you're in a real life wrestling promotion. You've got to have something that makes you stand out from other people, and yeah, I think you have to be pushy in order to get to the top. If you want to stand out and be noticed and be booked and get the shows, I think you have to do that. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Of course, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to go about doing it. But if you can do it the right way, I think that's only going to be a benefit to you.
That it is. Yeah, and like Maverick said, you know, there's a right and a wrong way. And the wrong way is to bury your head up somebody's anal cavity and say, "Can I come out yet? Can I come out yet?" You know, that's the wrong way to do it. Do it the AC way, the right way. Look at that. I'm plugging you already, AC. All right. So, do you got any other questions? Are we ready to wrap this up?
Well, your guy McNabb in the chat apparently just sent me a question, but I'm not doing very well at finding it at the moment, so I'm just having a look at the Twitters.
It might be from Scythe.
Ah, in that case, I have found it. Well, it's actually kind of two questions, actually. I'll just read them out. What core stands out to you with its gimmick, and how the core fits a gimmick? And the second part to that question, I think, is what core do you... Never mind. Never mind. That's just actually one question. You know what? I'm going to go with the guy that sat next to me right here with the blue hair that looks like a Smurf, AC Arthurs. I had to say that. I'm sorry.
It's cool.
His raving gimmick for me was one of the, if not the standout gimmick, when he first burst onto the scene and began to get noticed big time. That kind of hooked me in. I thought, yeah, I'm not a raver myself, so I can't relate to it in that way. But what I'm saying is, I appreciate the gimmick, and it's different. Nobody else was doing anything like that at the time. There's been a few rip-off attempts since from a few people, but this guy had it first.
I've seen them.
Yeah, this guy had it first, and yeah, that would be AC Arthurs would be my answer to Side's question there. There are, of course, many others, but I'm just going to give you one.
All right, so on that note, ladies and gentlemen, since tonight was this AC Arthurs is probably like going to go to the bathroom and be like, dude, time to masturbate. That's what he's going to do. He's going to be so full of himself now. He's going to be so happy and so excited. He got more love from everybody. No, he won't do that. He's a very humble individual.
I try.
But anyways, so now it is shameless self-promotion. Now at this point in time, so basically the way this works, you got a show you want people to check out, just give it a holler. And of course, because I'm a shameless person. Check out TPP. You're watching the podcast, you might as well check out Frontline. So, and for those of you that don't know, it's TPP Frontline, the YouTube channel name. So it's youtube.com/TPP Frontline, all one word. And whoever is next.
Self-promotion. PWR is good. You can probably watch that. That's on YouTube. Just PWR online. Look for that. CCE. Look for CCHD. That's on there. DPW is pretty good too. You can watch that. That's on YouTube as well. You can follow me on Twitter. That's usually quite fun. At that guy and AC. Yeah, that's pretty much all the plugging I can do because I'm not really a salesman. So yeah.
You did a pretty good job of selling yourself there, I have to say. And definitely go follow that guy AC on Twitter, definitely.
Which all of you should be following him anyways. You should all be following him anyways.
Of course. Well, shameless self-promotion and plug-in time, okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Die Hard, for actually putting this podcast together and for inviting myself, and I'm sure I speak for Andy as well, for inviting us as guests on the show. Not aware that anybody else does a podcast in the community, and you do it, so you are to be congratulated for actually putting it together and giving us something to listen to every week. Secondly, Andy, thank you for agreeing to appear on the podcast with me as a guest. It's a great honour to be here with both of you, so thanks for that. Got to give my guys a shout out in the MCW chat, not because they'd kill me if I didn't, or just part of that is probably true actually. But honestly, they really are such a great bunch of guys to hang out with and to work with, and I wouldn't swap them for any other group of guys. I really wouldn't. They kind of mean a lot to some of us that are involved in MCW, and we all kind of try to stick together and have fun and do what we do. And if you can do that at the end of the day, then I think you're doing something right. So, yeah, it's a pretty good deal to me. And last and not least, the shameless plug bit. If you're not already following us on YouTube, subbing to us on YouTube, then that would be MCW Promotions on YouTube. I will put the link in the chat when I get onto YouTube shortly. The Twitter is coming at you right now in the chat box. There you go. And yeah, we'll try and follow you back. And that's basically it.
Okay. All right, and then at this point in time, I want to thank Mr. AC Arthurs, the raver to the grave, for joining us. See, I don't say rave to grave, I say raver to the grave. But thank you very much. Thank you very much, AC, for joining us. This has been this podcast. Like, this was me and Maverick me and G had talked about this before when I first started doing the podcast. But it had to be a certain situation, and this was that certain situation, and so we were able to make it happen. And again, thank you to Arthurs and thank you to G. I've known G for a few years now. I've known Arthurs for almost 3 years now. So thank you to both of you. Yeah, too long. I've known you too long. But thank you to both of you. And then, of course, for those of you that are watching or do watch this later, if you would like to be on the podcast, all you got to do is get at me on Twitter, YouTube, on Skype, or wherever. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of, or even on Xbox. And we'll try to work it out. Sometimes we have these special, things like this, and this was a very special one. That's why it was just me, AC Arthurs, and Maverick tonight. Otherwise, it probably would have been a couple other people, but I really wanted to dig into the mind of the raver. See what goes on when he's not thinking about glow sticks. So
nothing much really, I'll tell you that.
But again, thank you guys for your opinions, and thank you guys for joining us tonight. And so I guess I'll catch you guys all later.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
All right, see ya.
Yeah.
Bye.